Okay, now we got the mics working. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Caucus.
Here.
Mrs. Passio.
Here.
Mr. Ranieri.
Here.
Mr. Lovenstein. Here. Mr. Farrell.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly.
Please excused.
Mr. Shapiro.
Here.
Mr. Long.
Here.
Mr. Vasor.
Here.
And Ms. Strelly.
Here.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act is begun by the clerk in the following manner. 1, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 5th, 2023, and 2, emailed to the retrospect and current post on January 5th, 2023. First order of business is Resolution 23-117 is a resolution confirming appointments for Public Works, 3 6-month temporary employees. I do want to amend this resolution just before anybody makes a motion. We got a letter of resignation, which we're going to, should we accept the letter of resignation before I appoint the new person?
Yes. In fact, I would say you should accept the letter of resignation before you
It's a
appoint.
separate resolution.
Do you have the resolution for the resignation? Did you print that out?
No, I didn't know you were doing it
I
tonight.
sent you an email, I said print this out.
We printed out here's the resignation.
So you can make it 23-118, resolution accepting the resignation of X.
Do we want to just amend this one, or do you want to have a second one?
Second one.
The new, for the new employee.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Can we make a motion?
I would
So
do-
why don't we do this one first, and then we'll walk the next two on?
That's fine.
Oh, you just don't want to add the
Yeah,
appointment?
because we have to accept the resignation. All right, so let's do the appointments first. 6-month employees, Vincent Persichetti, Jason Goswich, and Michael Dwayne for 6-month temporary laborers. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and their start dates, because we don't meet all the time, 9/11, 9/25. Would someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Mr. Lovenstein, second by Mr. Shapiro, since he's here tonight. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Lovenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
Okay,
All ayes on that.
so now we're going to walk on a couple of resolutions just to get some business done. 23-118 will be a resolution to accept the resignation of Carlos Castro, our building subcode official and building inspector. So his letter is basically thanking us, but his last day will be on Thursday. So would someone like to make a motion to accept Carlos's resignation?
I'll make a motion.
A motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Mr. Farrell. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Well, accepting resignation.
It's a personnel action deferral.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Lovenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
And Mr. Shapiro.
Yes. What if we say
All ayes
no?
on that.
There's an amendment to the Constitution against forced labor.
All right, so resolution 23-119 is replacing our building and subcode official. So the new inspector. So the new subcode official is Wayne Hans. Wayne spelled like Wayne, and Hans, H-A-N-S. He will be the building subcode official and inspector. His starting date will be 9/25. We will prorate his salary till the end of the year. His salary will be $16,000 a year. So that is a higher salary than what we were paying Carlos. But for those in the audience and the members of council, I did talk to Mr. Farrell about this, is it's hard to get inspectors. It's hard to get people to show up the next day after someone resigns. And we do have a lot of projects coming up, the townhouses, the warehouse. So I'm really hoping that our fee schedule and things like that will compensate anything that we need to pay for this new inspector. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that
All right,
motion.
motion by Mr. Lovenstein, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Lovenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
And Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
All ayes on that.
That resolution is adopted. All right, to stick with the construction department just for a little bit before we go through the rest of the agenda. One of the things during the meeting was because inspections and inspectors are difficult to get sometimes, and if the workload gets heavy, our construction official asked us to adopt a resolution or an ordinance, I'm not sure what it is. He's going to give it to me from Stratford, where it's a per inspection fee. And the reason for that is when we have something like 96 townhomes, you might have 96 footings and all this kind of stuff, it protects us if there's a lot of inspections. We can bring part-timers in to cover and do those kinds of things. So he's going to give that to us. I think that's important that we have that as an option to do a per inspection fee. Then also another ordinance which the solicitor and the construction department's working on, where we're just updating our fee schedule.
Correct.
How's that coming?
It's coming well.
Okay.
Expecting to have it by first reading next week.
Okay, because D.R. Horton did ask for that fee schedule.
Understood.
So what D.R. Horton, I guess, is trying to budget for the work. We've already given them a price to do the sewer connections. We gave them that number. And now they're asking, they want to, I guess, figure out what it's going to cost to do the entire project. And then the other thing that was asked by the technical assistant was to put all the fees on the website. Because some of the calls that she gets and some of the, I guess, scope requests, or at least some of the calls she's getting, is people asking what the fees are. I don't believe our fee schedule is on our website. So we either put it in the ordinance book or we put it separate in there. I don't know what the best way to do that. Probably in the ordinance book.
There's another ordinance you have to do. You have to amend the sewer connection ordinance to include that $250 application fee. I talked about it with Dan.
If you want me to do it, I can do it. It's an easy fix.
I can do it, but that has to be, I think I put it on here as one of the items. Amendment to the sewer ordinance.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be an application fee.
Correct.
To review the application and things like that. It has to be reasonable. Gloucester Township's application fee was $2,500, so I think $250 is pretty reasonable compared to $2,500.
Remember, through our conversation this morning, it has to be about us recouping our administrative cost as opposed to making it a revenue stream for the borough, in fairness to the applicants.
Yes, and that's why we thought $250 was a fair.
Perfect.
It's a fair number.
For everybody else to.
So we could review the drawings, review the connections, make sure that they're following the rules. You know, 96 homes, there's going to be a lot of connections that have to be inspected and things like that. And that'll be a separate application. Well, there's an engineering application that covers some of those costs. Okay, and then, oh, this will come up later. Okay, so that was the big thing, was getting the fees on the website, because people were complaining they didn't know what all the fees were. All right, we'll continue with the agenda. New business for tonight's meeting is the public hearings on ordinance 2310 and ordinance 2311. Which ordinances are they? I don't have copies of either one.
I don't have it either.
It is the
One is the tree removal, that
vagrancy
was,
Vagrancy,
and the Title 39 enforcement on private property for the car wash.
okay, so they're not that, we've already introduced them. They'll be for public hearing at the next meeting. There's no action for us to do this evening.
Right.
Proposed tree removal and replacement ordinance. Towns are starting to adopt this. I don't know what our time frame is. I think we have till the end of the year. The only thing we have to do is decide some of the things that we're allowed to decide. If we're going to charge a fee and how much that fee would be, those are the kind of things that we can decide on. Who's going to enforce it? So we have to review this ordinance and do first reading, I say by November. So that we can have it
well,
on.
where is the ordinance?
So they gave us a sample ordinance, and we all looked at it. I think did we do first reading on it already? No. So there's a sample ordinance that the state gave us. We have to adopt it, but we're allowed to change small things.
So, okay, so you're talking about, I remember in one of our meetings about a tree permit,
Yes.
and so that would be for homeowners?
So anybody,
A tree permit?
so the state, anybody who takes a tree down has to get a permit to take that down if it meets a certain criteria.
And that would be, and who would make that decision?
It's in the ordinance. The ordinance outlines the diameters of the trees, the locations of the trees. It's in depth. It was all sent out to us. It was like 20-some pages.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Give the sample ordinance a read. I can resend it to you if you need, and give me a call. We'll chat about it.
That sounds wonderful.
I think the only parts we have to decide, so for example, Barrington went to a zero fee. I think the issues that about a zero fee is, well, you still have to pay somebody to go out and look at the trees and look at this stuff. Who's going to do that? And I think most people are going to want to get paid to go out and look at something.
We're, Mayor, we're passing that in Magnolia.
Okay.
And it's, I think, dependent on the size of the tree. It's between $25 and $50 per, just to kind of cover your administrative costs.
I think that's reasonable.
And the reason for this is,
Stormwater management.
I still don't understand stormwater management.
So stormwater management is what some of the people in the audience here, I'm assuming before, is when it rains, water goes wherever it wants to go, or gets directed to go, or accidentally goes, or goes for whatever reason.
The umbrella of a tree absorbs the water.
And the idea is, the state is saying is that we have an obligation to replace trees. At the last meeting we had, myself and the engineer had mentioned that there was a lot of trees that we removed that we didn't replace when we fixed sidewalks and stuff like that. The state's coming back saying, well, you took trees down, you need to put them back up. If a homeowner takes a tree down, they need to put it back up. And we also want to promote people to put trees back up. So the idea is, trees are another mechanism to promote stormwater
Okay,
management.
but don't you think if a homeowner takes a tree down, okay, I know if I took a tree down, it would be because it was rotted or endangering my home.
Okay, so the ordinance says, that's fine, you're allowed to take it down, and some of the fees are waived if it's a dangerous tree.
Okay.
But you have to replace the
But
tree.
then you're telling me to replace the tree.
Yes.
Well, why? I don't want a tree there.
Well, you can put it somewhere else.
You can work with the green tea house.
You can put a tree somewhere else. I think the ordinance talks about that, right? It talks about planting trees in different areas.
Yeah, it has to be within the borough, it's limited.
So this applies for businesses?
Anybody.
This applies for residents?
Applies to the Borough of Runnemede.
Does it apply for Nelson? Nelson is, who's the one that goes around and cuts the trees?
They trim the trees, but anybody who takes a tree down with this ordinance has to now replace the tree. So the Borough of Runnemede, in our sewer project, we're taking a bunch of trees. Does the engineer want to tell Ms. Passio how many trees we're replacing? Rough guess? 100. We have 100 trees we have to replant.
And who purchases the trees? Who's buying the trees?
On our project, it's us, but the homeowner will be responsible. Now, what you're bringing up, and I think the ordinance takes into consideration this, is that if a homeowner doesn't want to plant a tree, they can pay a fee so a tree's planted somewhere else. Does that make sense?
It could be in a park, it could be anywhere, right?
Something to
Yeah.
it. I know you don't like charging people money and making people do stuff, but
I do not, in this day and age, I mean, my gosh, people can't afford to put food on their table, let alone paying fines, and let alone paying for a tree that I need to take down that costs thousands of dollars to take a tree down, rotted tree. Nobody wants to see a tree down.
so we have no choice though to pass this
I have a
ordinance.
neighbor who chopped down all my trees.
Whether we charge a fee is in our discretion,
Yeah.
the ordinance
Well,
has.
I hope we do.
Okay, we have to
Cover our overhead.
we have to pass this ordinance, we have no choice but to pass this ordinance. And the argument is, another person's property that's getting flooded, the argument is, they're not absorbing the water. That's the issues that we're dealing with.
May I just point something small out?
Yeah.
Um,
You talk quiet, so you need to have a microphone. Yes, Mrs. Straley.
Thank you, Mayor. I know that it seems harsh to charge a small fee to replace a tree if we don't want to have the residents replant them themselves. However, when we do that, we avoid having all of our residents pay to replace those trees. Because if we don't have the individual residents contribute to replacing those, what happens is the borough has to replace them all according to the state, and that is essentially why we end up having to increase taxes, because that's where that money comes from.
But you're talking about not doing residential property. You're
Well, we
talking
can
about-
plant them somewhere else. Yes, we can plant them somewhere else in the borough of Runnemede. However, in order to pay for them, we have to raise the taxes of every resident, not
So,
just that one.
okay, so in a storm and the tree falls down, who's going to be responsible? Because originally, say I wanted a tree down and the borough came along and said, well, I think that the tree should stay. And it falls down and it does damage or it kills somebody. Who's responsible?
Wherever the tree is.
Yeah, we're the property owner. I mean, we're not liable if, the ordinance does say, you have a copy of it? It's actually very clear, because the whole state, 564 towns are adopting this ordinance, and they've taken into consideration that if a tree is deemed hazardous, So that's why there's a cost for us to hire a professional. If you remember on, what road was it, Chief, that we did we brought the tree guy in? High Street. Remember High Street?
Yeah.
Tree fell down, destroyed a guy's car, destroyed his wife's car, 2 cars. And we then sent a tree expert to go on the other guy's property. He deemed those trees hazardous, and then they removed those trees, correct? Yeah, we forced them to remove the trees. And if they didn't remove the trees, we would have cut them down and put a lien on their property for cutting the trees down. I know you don't like it, but this is government. So, but there is something about hazardous trees. So hazardous trees means a tree or limbs, therefore, that meet one or more of the following criteria. Has an infectious disease or insect infection, is dead or dying, obstructs the view of traffic signs with the free passage of pedestrians or vehicles, has caused obvious damage to structures such as a building, sidewalks, is determined to be a threat to public health, safety, and the welfare by a certified arborist. So the borough is going to have to pay for a certified arborist. And what did that cost us, Harry, the last arborist?
To do the
Yeah, High Street.
High Street, that was, I think $850 just to come in and do the survey. And then from there, I forget what the person told that he hired a contractor and how much that cost.
So we had to pay somebody $850 to tell us because the property owner had rights. We couldn't just tell him to cut the trees down. We had to have a certified person say that those trees, and he went out there and marked what trees had to be taken down. The neighbors across the street wanted all the trees taken down. Do you remember? They showed up here and told us they wanted all the trees taken down.
So we have to pay for someone to come out, an arborist, okay, which comes out of taxpayers' money,
Yep.
to tell us we can take a tree down or not.
Yes.
Okay. Doesn't make sense to me.
Mark, do you have any comments on that? All right, so the tree removal and replacement ordinance. I think the only thing that this council can do is, I think we should charge at least a minimum of $25 for the fee. Because that'll at least go into a fund to help pay for someone to go out and either be an arborist or
Okay, so I see a tree and my tree just is dead. So now, in order sometimes to get a landscaper to come out and look at that tree and tell you when he's going to come back to cut that tree down, that takes time. Or sometimes he can say, I can do it right now. Or so we have trouble getting permits now. So how quickly can you get me a permit because I'm going to put my tree down? Tomorrow, if he wants to come.
Okay.
These are just problems that I just foresee, that, I'll be realistic.
All right, so the ordinance is a living document, and we can constantly amend it, we can fix it. There are exceptions to the rule. Any person shall comply with the tree replacement standard outlined above, except in cases detailed below. So the state, under this statute, residents remove less than 4 trees per acre that fall into a certain category. Tree farm activity. Hazard trees may be removed with no fee or replacement required. So that can be waived. So a hazardous tree can be waived. So the state's already said that if you have to take a tree down,
Hey, I'm all for it. If I
You
have to
can do
take
it.
a tree down, I'll replace it. I already did it in my yard, I replaced a tree with a creeper.
nice.
So, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna pass this ordinance, and we're gonna adopt this before the end of the year. We're gonna put a fee in there. We're gonna figure out who our arborist is gonna be. We're gonna figure out who's gonna go out there and inspect it. And if people don't follow the ordinance, they're subject to fines. I'm sorry. The law doesn't mean anything if we don't have a mechanism to enforce it. All right, proposed bamboo ordinance. It's still being tabled. There's some discussion on it. It's being tabled. TDV, Total Disabled Vet Resolution. We have a veteran in town who's qualified, and we're going to be reducing his taxes. Proclamation for the Women's Club. That will be read at the next meeting. An amendment to the sewer ordinance. This is the application fee. So, I don't know, I should call him chief or sewer guy. We're gonna put that in there, and that's gonna basically help you go out there and inspect this stuff prior to us authorizing this connection fee. Halloween curfew hours. Was there some discussion on that?
Yeah, I'll make a discussion on it. Okay, so I know when Eleanor went to the Board of Education meeting, it was recommended by Samantha that we have our curfew, that we have our trick or treat from 3 to 7 o'clock. We've always had our trick or treat from 3 to 7, except for 2019, I do believe it was, we had it from 2 to 7 because it was a Sunday, it was the pandemic, and we decided to give them a few extra.
So can I stop here?
So-
Are you recommending 3 to 7?
I am recommending 3 to 7,
Okay. Okay.
but the reason being for 3 to 7 was because the kids get out of school.
School ends at 3.
Okay, but, you know, we do have kids that are homeschooled, we do have kids that have disabilities, and we do have parents, and it's been told to me, that they're toddlers, and sometimes they don't like to be out there with all the kids. So 2 o'clock always seemed good. It was something that our predecessors always had, 2 to 7. But we decided back in 2017 that we would do 3 to 7. So it's been that way. So we'll keep 3 to 7.
Okay.
And
Great. So we'll put a resolution on for next.
I
You
just
got
wanted to
that,
know
Joyce?
that it has always been 3 to 7 since
All right.
2017.
Great. So resignation of building inspector, we've already taken care of that. Why don't we get rid of the payment of bills out of the way so that I don't forget it? Would someone like to make a motion to pay the monthly bills?
I'll make a motion to pay the monthly bills.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Lobenstein. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Shapiro.
Yes.
All right. The bills should be paid. We're going to go around the room. Ms. Passio, did you want to start?
Sure. Okay, my events. All right, so we have our townwide yard sale coming up, and it'll be for the weekend of September 30th to October 1st, 8 o'clock in the morning till 2 p.m. There's no fee, no permit. So a lot of towns, most of the towns that do have yard sales do charge for permits. We do not. And so with that money that you're saving, you can advertise if you'd like. We do not put anything on our website on the town or the streets or whoever's going to have a yard sale. We ask that you bring your things in when you're done, and you can always go over to the Women's Club Flea Market on October 14th and bring the wares that you didn't sell. You can bring them over there and sell. On October 6th, please remember, we have our Pike Jam, which is from 5 to 9, and it will be on the Harry Williams grounds. October 14th, again, is the Women's Club Flea Market. We have a shredding event also that day from 10 a.m. to 12 in our parking lot right here. October 28th is our Green Team fundraiser and costume party. It's at the VFW. Does anyone know the hours? Because I do not. No hours? You should know the hours. This is your mother. Okay. Well, anyway. Okay, so that should be a fun time. Come out and support the Green Team. October 28th through November 5th is early voting, and that voting will be at the Senior Center. October 30th are flu shots in the gym from 10 to 1 p.m. On October 31st, Halloween night, is the the Borough Halloween party and costume party. We will have pizza, we have our balloon girl, hopefully we'll have some music, and don't forget our costume contest. That will be in the field house from 6 to 8 p.m. And then again, like I said, our trick-or-treat hours will be from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Did we talk curfew, Chief?
Whatever it was last year was good.
Okay. What was it last year? 9 o'clock, I think.
I think it was 9
It
o'clock.
was from Sunday.
Joyce,
I thought it
curfew?
was from Sunday.
We'll just do the same as we did every year.
The days, well, depending on the police chief as to how long. Some police chiefs like the curfew to last for a week. What do you think?
No, I was good. No, everybody's good. That
I
just
think
that
you, I
night,
think you cut it down,
I
didn't
did.
you?
I did.
I thought it was like from a Sunday to,
Here we go, here's last year's.
or the weekend.
We did it from Friday the 28th till Monday the 31st. When does the 31st fall on this year?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. So what do you want to do?
What do we have last year? Was it 9 o'clock or something?
Yeah, it was, it
Oh, the
ended
timing?
at 9.
It was 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But when do you want to start it?
The same as last year's fine. Whatever the.
Friday?
To
Yeah,
Tuesday?
no problem.
Friday to Tuesday.
Yep, everybody, they be able to.
I think Michigan likes it.
Yeah. Mayor, do you know, are we having a blood drive on December 29th?
Yes,
Okay, so we're having a blood drive at the Harry Williams on December 29th. Do you know the hours?
no.
Okay.
It's on this very fancy
it's in
calendar
December.
we have.
It's in December, so we will,
I don't have
advertise
a date
that.
yet, I don't think, for that.
It was already.
I mean, I have the date, I don't have the time yet. That's the Rotary Club's doing that.
Oh, okay, the
Yeah.
Rotary, okay. All right, and then we have our drive-through town. Santa and Mrs. Claus will be driving through town on Sunday, November 26th at 7 p.m. And Santa will be throwing out toys to the kids. And our tree lighting will be at 6 p.m. at the Harry Williams building. We will light our Christmas tree. And I hope, are we going to get some new decorations?
It's all on the chairperson. It's all on the chairperson.
I want some decorations. You think it's a little late?
Next year's budget.
You think?
I have faith.
I can pull it through, yes, I can. Well, how much money you need?
Your budget.
Okay, so hopefully, maybe we'll get some more decorations. And I think that is it in regards to my events. Anybody else have any events coming up that we know about?
We're good.
Oh, I do want to say, did I say, I did say October 6th. Yeah. I do want to say that there was a tournament this past weekend. It was, I knew nothing about it. It was mentioned, you mentioned it at our meeting, and then I had talked to the chief in regards to it because it was our senior day. The seniors only have a meeting where we give them a luncheon once a month, which is always the third Saturday. The crowd was immense. The traffic was horrible, but I do want to thank Officer Patrolman Angelucci. The chief came through for me, and he directed the traffic so that we can have parking for our seniors. He wants to thank you, myself, and the chief for them having parking. They weren't there, I don't know what we would have done, but I would have liked a little bit of communication on that one. Does anybody know who ran the tournament? I was told it wasn't.
I know it's something we're constantly battling on, is knowing what's going on at different athletic fields. Harry's been asking me to figure out what's going on down at soccer. I did reach out to Barb. She was trying to get a tighter schedule, but even what they're dealing with is constantly fluid with weather, I guess, and things like that. So the only thing we do is, hopefully we can maybe embrace a little more technology and get.
Every year I actually schedule the school so I can get to Harry.
I mean, it was so crowded and people.
Yeah, when they have tournaments like that with baseball, it's going to be.
Yeah, but then again, we have to pay an officer to come out and direct traffic so that our seniors can park.
That happens, and the seniors meet once a month.
Yes.
This is not we have events all the time, and the seniors meet once a month, and we just make sure that day that the seniors need to contact the chief and just tell them that, and then it's a W. I mean, the sporting events happen, and it's not going to change.
Understandable. I understand.
Well, I see what Greg's saying is. Well, no, I think what Greg's saying is we can always, if we know the seniors are going to be there, we just block it off.
Yeah.
That would have been the answer.
Yeah, that's it. And
Then we don't have to know if they're having some type of a practice.
Well, exactly. That's what we set out to do as soon as I found out about
Yeah,
it.
that was good.
Sorry.
All right, anything else?
Oh, I have a lot, but no, I'm.
This is a meeting,
I'm
it's a
fine.
public meeting.
I'm fine.
You can bring it up later.
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Ranieri.
brought it up to you in the back room.
Mr. Ranieri, anything else? Mr. Ranieri, want to get started?
Have to get started. Anything else? Thank you, Mayor, Council. Good evening, everybody. In finance, the closing for our sewer sanitary project on Davis Road is November 14th. We are going to keep the original bond amount at this time. Our shared service agreements for all the renewals for 2024 are in progress now. The Camden County Improvement Authority is working with HERA, the Housing and Economic Recovery Organization, for property registrations and the property registration program. And there's going to be a meeting on October 4th that will overview the program. I guess this is for the abandoned homes, which we have
Yes.
a very small inventory, right?
Yeah, so do we need a resolution for that? I did read that email you sent me. We're going to partner with the county again. I think that was your recommendation.
We have a meeting next week with the county.
October
So
4th?
we can get more.
So we'll have to do it in November. If you want to make a note for November's caucus, or October's caucus,
For,
the approach hamps thing. You know,
oh,
the new
yeah,
closure.
HERA, the new one,
The new.
HERA.
Whatever it was called, yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have any details yet.
No, I didn't realize we were just going to have a meeting. I thought we were just going to sign up for it. And then we had a meeting.
No, it's a webinar, isn't it a webinar, a Zoom meeting, excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're still waiting for our budget request from each of our departments. We should have all that in by the end of the month. And then we'll set up a finance committee meeting to put the budget together for '24. And the rest is progress.
All right, thank you. Mr. Shapiro.
Yeah, we'll make my report.
All right, good job. Mr. Lomenstein?
Just Public Works is getting ready for the leafing season. We're still waiting for one truck to come back. They're having problems with the emission. We're waiting for that truck to come back. Mr. Wolzunk has hired, as we saw, more staff. He was short on that. He had a good idea. He put the signs out around town, and it seems to have worked pretty well along with our little boost in the pay rate. And the rest is progress.
Great.
Thank you.
Mr. Farrell?
I'm going to go to
Oh, well, look at you guys. Mr. Long, I know you have to leave at 6:45. Did you
Thank
want
you, Mayor.
to add anything?
Just as the items we talked about before, the sewer ordinance and construction fee ordinance, I'm going to wrap up those as quickly as possible. Joyce will coordinate on the sewer ordinance. Just one quick line on that.
Well, I could just put that line in, it's
All
not
right.
a big deal, yeah.
I'm-
Not the other one.
The other one you had me do.
Yeah.
Fair enough, 'cause it's more than one line.
Right.
All right, fair enough.
Did you want to talk about the issue that, is it an issue we should talk about in public, the
Which one?
$300,000?
No, that's not public issue.
Doesn't council need to approve anything to do that?
Not at this point.
Okay.
But there will be, and we may need a closed session at some point to discuss that, but not at this particular juncture.
Do we want to put a closed session on at the next meeting? The council?
Probably makes sense.
Want to put that on?
Closed session for next
Closed
week.
session.
Regular meeting or caucus?
Just, our regular meeting.
Litigation.
Yeah, potential litigation. So we'll talk about that next week, and then, we'll see where we are at that point. But moving along, progress. Thank you, Mayor.
Who's next? Well, I was going to go to Australia next. Did you have anything?
I'm actually gonna let Mark have it.
Okay. I'm going to go, Mr. Bayshore. Let's save you for the, well, we saved the chief for the end. Mr. Bayshore, do you want to take the microphone?
Sure. Unfortunately, I don't have a written report. I'll get that to you before next week. But some things have been happening. Last month, we reported that we found out there was $25,000 in open space money that had to be spent at Beaver Branch Park. The application at that time was for lighting. So we were quoting a base bid to install 5 lights from the bathroom to the entrance to the park. And we did an ad alternate from the bathrooms to the end of the park for 6 lights. So we received quotes today. The low bid for the base bid for the 5 lights at the entrance was $42,500. It's higher than we were anticipating, but compared to all the other quotes, it was pretty competitive. If we wanted to do the ad alternate, that puts us past Shelley's $44,000 limit to be able to award it as a QPA, and we have to go out to bid. So if you want to get that $25,000 spent, we could award the base bid for $42,500, as long as Shelley can find $17,500 of borough money to do it. Or we could try to re-quote it and reduce the scope and only possibly do 3 lights. And we'd have to do that quickly because you do have to get that money spent by December, by the end of the year. So that's your options to consider.
So when we did this the first time, the 25,000 covered.
It got 5 lights and the timer, but that was 3 or 4 years ago, and costs have escalated.
Let's do the entrance, the whole thing, get to 17.
Well, no, see what he's saying, that to do the whole thing, we'd have to go out for.
We have to go.
No, just the entrance.
Just did. So I think Shelley was going to say, we do have the bond money from the roads, and this is a bondable item. So we would just take money from the,
17.5.
from the road projects.
Is that
Yeah,
something?
That would be nice.
do the
It's up to you,
final.
Mr. Farrell, what do you think? Is that-
No, I think it's great.
Yeah.
I gotta get that $25,000 spent, or you're all losing.
Yes.
I mean, just things that we're not done the project, that's.
But you're moving forward, it's progress.
Right, I think Shelley suggested that we could ask the county for another 25 next year.
Definitely can do that. Not a problem. Okay, so is that something you want to get a resolution on for
Yeah.
next week?
We do it next week, is that fine, or do you need it tonight?
If you want to do it tonight, we can do it, so we can get stuff ordered.
I'm gonna get it tonight, because everything's taking too long. What resolution number were we up to?
You have to work out, it was
23-120.
Todd
Are
Electric,
you good?
or Arthur Todd Electric.
Council member of the meeting.
Thank you.
All right, so, want to take it first? I'll get it out of the way. All right, so, resolution 23-120 is a resolution to award low bid Arthur Todd Electric for the light project at Beaver Branch Park, or new renamed it Vanilla Park. Is there a motion to approve that resolution?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Lovenstein, second by Mr. Ranieri. Roll call, please.
And then we write their names down. Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
And Mr. Shapiro?
All right, that's taken care of.
We'll get working on that. Get that
So
going.
that has to be closed out by December 31st?
Good. So we'll get moving on that. The First Avenue project with the CDBG funding, the drainage installation is complete. They're going to be out starting Thursday to do the curb work. I'm working with Harry. We have additional CDBG funds available for either First Avenue or Second Avenue from this current grant. So we met with the contractor today. We're looking to get possibly doing some additional clearing to get the drainage to work better at the dead end. And we're also looking to remove the stamped concrete crosswalk on Second Avenue, which we'll be doing in the next phase, and you have money for the next phase. So we're looking to spend the old money, so I'm waiting to get quotes from them on that. While they were out there talking about additional projects with them, we went and looked at the curb over on Hirsch Avenue. So we're going to get a price from them on that. Harry's getting prices from a few other people. That will not be CDBG funded, but we might be able to do it through a change order with the contract, if that's how it pans out.
So they'll honor their.
They're giving me a quote.
Okay, it's not part of their numbers.
No, they have to, they were going to see if they can hold their unit costs or not, but they have to, because it's a little slightly different project with that. The sewer extension project, we now have contracts, bonds, and insurance in place, so we're ready to set up the pre-com meeting. I got to coordinate with DCA and DEP and see what dates are available for them to get
And the
that
Borough of
going.
Barrington.
And the Borough of Barrington, yes.
Did you see that, their engineer and their public works
Yeah, I'll
superintendent?
invite them to the meeting once it's set up. The last thing I have is your tax assessor contacted our office because in 2013, Detmar Terrace, a portion of it was vacated. And he wanted that to show up on our tax maps. So I started looking into it, and unfortunately, the area was vacated, but it doesn't say who gets what. Apparently, half of the vacated street was offered to all 4 residents that bought that property, or that area, but there's no borough record of who agreed to it.
I mean, I can look it up. I mean,
So
each
we
property
think-
owner at the time took it.
We don't have any proof of that. And since it did happen, it should be dedicated to someone. So we should have, if everybody's agreed to it, and that's what you want, we
Sounds
should
like the
have.
impression from the attorney back then was that when you vacate a street, it automatically goes to the adjacent property owner.
I believe you have to offer it.
And
You don't
there's
have
a
to
book in
accept
the
it.
county where you
don't-
register vacated streets.
You don't have to accept it, because we had the.
Well, that was different, that was.
Mark, can you send me what you have, and we'll.
Okay. So if Yeah, because we did
So I
that
thought
with
that was different. We got rid of the public walk,
public walks, but some residents didn't want it.
and we gave it to the other
We gave
person.
it to the other person.
But I thought that Len had said back then that when a town vacates a street, because we vacated streets at the asphalt plant, we've done stuff like that, I just thought it automatically goes to them.
Because if you look up the deeds of those 4 residents, it doesn't show them as owning that property.
But the tax assessor charges them for it.
That's what he's saying he's doing. But if they go to sell that, their deed's not going to show that they own that property. So I'll forward it to Dan, because I'm trying to piece together what happened. But we should.
This was a Len thing, and we just filed it with the county.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a response. Spark, you just send me that, whatever.
So if we have to, we'll come up with 4 different deeds for each of the residents.
And what started this, they're putting a fence in? Is
No,
that-
no. Well, I don't know what started in 2013.
No, but that's what started it.
Someone, one of them wanted to put a fence up and claim that they owned that extra property there.
They
But
do.
they're- Yeah,
But when they got a survey, it didn't show that they owned it? Is that what happened?
I guess not.
The tax assessor contacted that showed that property, that vacated street's not showing up on the tax map.
Okay.
So we did a tax map revision, but it just shows that it's vacated, doesn't show who owns it. So we started looking into the mechanism for what created that vacated
So every
street.
time we do lot consolidations, we do subdivisions, are we still updating those tax maps? Is that something we've lost track of?
We should be, and we are trying to catch up to all of those, yes. And this is one of them that we just showed as a vacated street, but we don't say who received it. Because the ordinance that approved it just approved that whole area. Didn't say, this block and lot got this 25 feet, this block and lot. I can't remember either.
You were here.
So were you. You voted.
We're mayor appointees, pal.
You voted on it as a.
I did vote on it, you're right.
As a council person at the time. But yeah, there's letters that went out. We have copies of the letters that went to the 4 homeowners, but there's nothing that came back that said we agree to it.
I know they did. I met with every one of them.
Okay, well,
That sounds like something you would do.
we'll work on it.
I met with them.
So I will have a written report for next week, but that's everything I have, unless anybody has any questions on anything.
So the sewer, or the stormwater slip lining, we're still waiting on the signatures from the property owners, correct? I haven't gone to visit them yet.
Yeah, I asked you to, we went to them, we gave them copies of sign and return, calls, gave your phone number, my contact information to Dan's, and nothing has happened. So I need you to do the knock and advise.
So we're gonna have to knock on the doors?
Can we come with you? We haven't done one
You gonna come with me?
We haven't done one together in a while.
Yeah, take him with you.
I think you might be able to.
I'm gonna bring the chief in, so.
That money has to be spent by December 15th, by the way.
That has to be spent by December
CDBG.
15th?
Thanks, Shelley.
Yeah.
The slip lining has to be done?
No,
by
no, no,
December?
no, the CDBG, I'm sorry, CDBG money, the open space, I'm sorry.
Oh, the lights?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get where you went over that.
Yeah, I said December 31st, It's December 15th, I was correct.
Thanks.
Mayor, I gotta.
Are you gonna go, sir?
Yeah,
All right, thank you. All right, we're good, let's keep going. All right, Harry. You wanna keep going?
Yeah, if I can get you to recall the email I sent you earlier today to you and Director Lovenside for adding to our part-time list 3 more employees for the resolution of hire.
I mean, I got no problem with that, do we need to walk it on tonight, or we have to have a meeting
For the next meeting.
for next
Right
week?
here, right?
Yeah, no, there's 3 more.
Three more additional will be for October.
So I got no problem putting them on in the next resolution.
Be 6 months, and, you know, just so everybody's advised, we're trying people out, we're bringing them in at part-time for 6 months, and we do have 3 full-time vacancies we are looking to fill with these hires that we're getting in now.
Their start date would be after the council meeting, or is it back date?
So we're backdated ones after.
Doesn't matter to me.
I will make sure the clerk is properly advised of the applications and the dates.
I have the applications, but I don't have any dates.
I will touch base tomorrow by email and make sure you have it.
Yes. Kathy, since you're here, we are looking for an intern for the construction department. Do you have anybody?
So that in the job description, we will put it to the high school and hopefully get one.
Because one of the issues is that we only have one person in there, and if they leave, it's closed.
Yeah.
Now, we can work things out. We do a shared service with Barrington, but that doesn't always work. Both of the ladies in the construction department are both going to a class on the same week. So there's literally a week where we have nobody in there, which is terrible. And
So now they are students, so they would be after school, but school gets done early. So that's something that.
we can work something.
Maybe we could do two, and then have alternate.
So if I could ask you to follow up on that internship with Diane and Mark, our construction official, because it's something we definitely want to try to get going.
Sure.
And what would be really nice is if the individual was really interested, we could send them to school to actually get the class.
Ah.
We need people to be inspectors and technical assistants.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, so Diane and Mark?
Diane and Mark. So Diane will have most of it,
Okay,
and Mark's the construction guy.
okay. And do you know if there's a job description? I can just ask them. There is?
It's called a technical assistant to the construction official. It's a civil service title. You can actually Google it, and New Jersey actually describes it. That's not what we're asking for. We're asking for somebody to help.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I will follow up with that.
What else, Aaron? Sorry.
No problem. Just to give you some update on some other projects we got going on. The fountain for the First Lake, we do have the 2 quotes now. I'll be talking to finance office and looking forward to secure the finances for that for the purchase for next year on that part. On Thursday, the Recycling Camden County Committee will be meeting. One of the top subjects is the trash fees for 2024. As you know, the quotes already came in for that, and it's through the roof above the recycling. So I'll be able to hopefully give you some more reporting on that, but it's not good news for the budget for 2024, our trash fees. With help from the Assistant Sewer Superintendent, we put together with our sewer system, having issues with restaurants and so forth, with fats, oil and grease, which pretty much would go by the acronym FOG. We actually put together a whole packet together, and that's going to be stuffed in envelopes and being mailed out to all the restaurants in town for the guidance on it and inspections and how to clean their grease traps, hopefully to help on our preventive maintenance of our system.
So this is the grease trap ordinance. We have an ordinance.
We have an ordinance. This is the whole paperwork for everything. So I do have copies for council if you want to have one. So if you get phone calls from any of your fine dining establishments, you know what's going on. But we got to start doing inspections and helping cut the cost on maintenance on our stations. Through the storm, we had just a report, since we haven't been together for a while. The Harry Williams Building Library, we did have flooding through the back door from the rain collection, so that was taken care of. We had to bring Service Master in because it entered into the carpets and the bottom baseboards to the library and so forth. Borough Hall, we've had some roof leaks up on the main roof over top of the clerk section. So we had 3 holes identified. They were temporarily patched, and waiting for a quote from the roof contractor for permanent repairs on that part.
Is this where the school board is?
Yes. And plus the leaks were going in there, going into the clerk's storage closet. So that's where we found out where that water was coming from. I do have all the quotes for the other, as we talked at our department head meeting, for the concrete jobs all around different locations. I will be trying to make a meeting with Mr. Elling to go over these and see if we still have the funding from that available to get moving on those projects. We also have 2 of our sewer stations. We're down 1 pump out of 2 from the storm surges that we had. We had more or less clogging in 1 pump. We moved the clog already. We've been working on it since the storm. And then we're coming back to it to where we could have damage from it from overusage with the clog. But working on that. Another station, we're having problems with kind of the hookup where the pump goes into the piping itself. We've been trying to diagnose that. That's going to become a couple of day issue to resolve that itself. So with that, it has put us behind on some other projects of the dog park has come up for some maintenance and TLC there. But with the rain and the storms, we're going to try to get into that next week. And also, we haven't been able to get to the RC park for the removal of that. So as soon as we get caught up from all of our work we've been doing from the storm damage and so forth like that, we will keep going and keep ready for everything else. Any questions?
And we're all good with the RYA fields? They're all-
We have all the material right now to do fall fertilization. We've done weed control already, but with the rains and that, we wouldn't be able to keep up with the grass cutting if we fertilize it. So we're actually hoping to get dry out a little bit and get the fields fertilized that way. With that,
There was
we've
a call
done,
about some more dirt down there. Was there any concern about that they needed dirt at some of the fields? Did you see that one email? I don't know where-
there's no soil required on any of the fields. It's just conditioning them. So they actually have too much soil in certain locations, and that's what we've been working on. And until I get kind of a confirmation of request letters from the RYA officials, then we can put together our maintenance schedule for it. But we just can't drop to go to it because we've been working on, this is the hot field, now this one is. But then also we're trying to maintain all of our other normal duties.
Quick question.
Yes.
Speaking of duties, the pump stations, each have a spare, right?
There's two pumps itself in each station, so they go on and off, and if there's surge, both of them come on and maintain the flow.
I know we're investing in, but are we upgrading them? Do we have a schedule to continually?
They're constantly being upgraded and so forth to control
The pumps
pumps.
themselves?
Then we have emergency bypassing. We have emergency generators for when the power goes out. But we also have contingency plans of emergency bypass pumps. If we lose catastrophically of the pumps, we can bypass until we get
We're
the
just
pumps.
not gonna, I'm just saying, we're not gonna have 1 year where we gotta have to invest heavily in all of them, or are we doing?
No, they're pretty spread out.
Okay, good.
You'll be going good.
Yeah, well, I'll be living here now.
But the damage, though, the one damage was 4 feet of water in Central Avenue. Is that what caused the damage? The turnpike flooded that one?
With the grate that
It
they
wasn't
added.
they had pump.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the
With the
pump.
grate they added down there, we didn't have any flooding in the pump itself or no damage to the pumps at that station. We did have high water in the area to the residents. Not sure about entering any of the houses itself, but it was caused from a new grading system the turnpike put on the basin behind it. Also, all the water that we've got, which was 3.5 inches, 3.49 inches, that shut down the turnpike on Saturday night for 5 hours from the discharge.
But all the pump stations have been upgraded, right? We've upgraded pretty much every single one over the past
They all
decade.
have backups now.
Yeah, there's 2 pumps, you remember?
Yeah, just making sure.
Last year, Forest was the last one that we changed the pumps out, and that was from
Yeah,
1953.
ours was the oldest one. That went pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Anything else, Harry?
Not at this time.
All right. Chief?
Yeah, I got 2 things. As everybody knows, the county's big on addiction awareness, and last year they asked me to put a softball team in their addiction awareness tournament at Valley Brook. We won the tournament last year. Sorry about my voice, this is part of it. And then this past Friday, the team I put together as captain, retired Captain Murray on it, Patrolman Harper Lee, myself, and Captain Burns, and we defended our title last Friday. So 2-time champs. I also attended a press conference in Triton today that you probably see on the news that the Black Horse Pike Regional School District has all their bus drivers trained in Narcan usage.
Was that Lou?
Yeah, he was there. It's on the news. So they gave them all a backpack with Narcan in it, and they're all trained to use it if something were to happen on the bus. So this county they're really ahead of things when it comes to addiction awareness and Narcan also. It was a great press conference out there.
Thank you for coming.
No problem.
I know, was Dave Mayer there?
No.
Okay.
Chuck was
there?
Yeah.
I was asked to go, but I couldn't. I had work.
Yeah, that was the first day.
But I appreciate it.
They came up with this. I said, no problem. He's a busy guy.
They said something?
Yeah, to me. So he's busy.
All right.
That's
So,
it.
just a question, the amount of students that with buses, it's kind of scary to know that we are paying Narcan in.
I think they want to be prepared.
Yeah, there was
I don't
an
think you need
incident
to
in
read into
Boston
it that they
Township
have
a
a
couple
problem
years
as
ago.
much as they're trying to be proactive. Do you agree with that?
Yes, there was an
That was the
incident.
statement that I was basically.
There was an incident in Gloucester Township a couple of years ago where somebody got,
Yeah,
like,
I remember that.
Proactive versus.
yes. Yeah,
It's like having the defibrillators in the
they
gym.
really want Narcan everywhere.
And it's $9. I mean, right? They're cheap now.
Yeah, and there's grants and all they got to get nice, they got nice, the whole setup for it. And then the
I agree
bus
with you. I
drivers
first didn't
spoke.
understand it.
Yeah, I mean.
But then when it was
I
explained to me, it was just to, you know, to be
understand it, but I
prepared.
just wish that our government would just do a little bit more for
Really? Like the government to do more, huh?
versus, yeah.
We're gonna talk about that.
Like, have.
I think the government should be more involved in our,
Yes, sir.
And we should be. And we should be. And we are. And we are. I'm talking about the head.
I'm smart. Okay, so, thank you, Chief. Was there a second? That was the two things, right?
Yeah, that's it. I'm good, thanks.
Thank you, Chief, for.
Thank you.
All right, so is there anything else before we go to the public? All right, seeing nothing else, anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and town of origin. No more addresses.
No more action.
We're giving you your privacy.
No. We need the address.
Well, you're not required.
James Harwacky, 831 North Oakland Avenue. Okay. I'm here standing in front of you after 27 years. Okay. Over 4 mayors, technically 5 mayors. Okay. The whole town has a problem with storm drains. Okay. And that's also, after 41 years being in construction, that's a problem that you're having too at your pump stations, okay? Because it can't take an inrush current that everybody's putting into the storm drains because they
The sewer lines.
into the sewer lines because it can't take that. Okay, now we have to get the state involved somehow. Turnpike's part of it. I've been here 27 years. Talked to all 5 different mayors. Not finger pointing. I'm tired of it. There's a solution. There's been preliminary drawings done up on streets that are not being done. These are standard storms. They're not hurricanes. Okay, and this problem is not going to go away. And now we got a point, there's about 5 homes behind you, the people, the residents, that you're getting to the point where the pipe is collapsing and the ground is giving. It's washing out the pools constantly in my office into tons of nights bailing out my basement. I got that last storm that you guys talked about, 3 foot of water. Called 911, guys come out, they can't pump the water anywhere. It's not allowed to pump it because then it affects another block. Okay, my problem is, I've been here as a resident. I've done a lot for the township. People know me here. My problem is, when is something going to be done with Bowers? It's an easy solution. It can go with 6 drainage straight into a reservoir that they said is not being occupied. Okay, that is not true because you have both sides of Broadway dumping into it, off the T fields, into it already. Okay, and we're not getting any cooperation from the turnpike, then they need to be involved. Okay, because the water just can't keep coming into people's residence and paying taxes and getting nothing from it. The closest I got to it is the mayor worked with us and finally put in a double drain, but it's on an existing system. It goes from a 1 foot down to an 8-inch. It does 360 degrees. And the reason why I went this is I went through several years and spent over $25,000 now in 27 years, constantly fixing things, okay? I can't keep hitting my homeowners. I don't think it is asking too much. You guys wouldn't want it in front of your house, okay? It keeps pouring in front of our house no matter what you do. There's an easy solution, okay? That street should be addressed. There's no storm drains from the Blackhorse Pike on Elm, and definitely the problem where it's really bad coming off the ball fields onto Bowers. It's a simple solution, and you should see it's a river. Everybody knows. They come to it every time. Okay, then the problem is nobody's addressing it. And this is not a 5-year thing. I'm a resident here for 27 years. It's the same problem. And everybody says, well, it goes away for a little bit. I can't rely on nature, people. I can't sell my house. I'm so pissed, I'd like to move, okay? I can't move. Thanks to the governor, you have to enclose that you take on floodwater when you go to sell your home. Because if you don't enclose that, they can sue you for it. Now, I can't get flood insurance because I'm not in flood area. When I bought it in the middle of the block, that was the first thing I checked to see if we had flood. I found that out in '96 when I moved here. I've taken 6 truckloads of dirt when I first started. Never bothered the township. I know all the regulations that you can't go too high and pump water onto other people's property. I finally got it to a point where I have a little hill in front of my wall so I can keep it to the right of my property. Problem is now, guys, it's going right through. And it's 9 feet off of the guy behind me in a rancher. The ground is collapsing. The guy's putting cinder in there. The 1-foot interlocking concrete is collapsing. It can't take the water. But if you do something with ours, I guarantee you, gentlemen, 41 years in construction, seen all phases of it, okay, being in business for 31 years, that's going to take 50% of that load to allow the existing blocks to catch up. Because it will drop into there, deviate the water from both of the ball fields. We keep talking about trees and other things that suck up the water. It's not your problem. Years ago, I've been here 27 years, we passed the ordinance that we can build a home on 40-foot lots. Nothing, gotta make money. But I know the 3 homes that they put on Bowers, and nobody put storm drains on that. And that's over 10,000 a home. It's been over 10 years than 3 homes, so that's 300,000. You could have done that simple solution twice. And it's only going to go up. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. Every one of you here, I know a lot of faces. It's nothing personal. You wouldn't want it in front of your house. I'm now 58, I'm tired of doing this. Okay? Something's going to happen. The guy's house in blank, it's going to blow the wall out. Then you're going to have to fix it. If you do that, it's an open landscape, it's a simple solution, and it deviates 50% of the water, helping the old drainage system. I went through an engineer years ago, 12 years ago. We are 6 foot 9.5 inches from where my road is to the Blackhurst Plant. That's almost 7 foot. Think about the water with no drains coming across 3 blocks and a ball field. If you go on Bowers, take a look at it. All the stone where old parking lot, it's all eroded. The stone is all out on the street. It's a simple solution. And what it's to do, it comes down, it comes around my neighbor's house, and it comes around another neighbor's house. It's ruining his garage. The guy, there's residents that are going to speak for themselves tonight. I understand, it's an old town. But you got to start. Water goes downhill. It's a very simple solution. You start at the top. You start at the top and you slow it down. If you think going 6 blocks back, it's only got that much more momentum. If it's clogging here, you can do whatever you want behind you. Orchard, the problem that you have with them people, that should be a state issue. So automatically, hey, sorry, we're doing it. It has to be drainage. It has to be done. Okay? I'd say if they don't want it done, fine, go do Bowers. It'll slow it down. Okay? And I don't mean to insult anybody, but anybody that comes out to take care of a storm drain and does something to get around their house 360 degrees, it's pathetic. 360 degrees, where it comes in, read, hits across the street, goes 50 feet, hits another 90, goes around the house, hits another 90. How do you expect in an old system, this water is ever going to take that unless you slow it down from the top? And I'm sorry, it's been 27 years, pissed off, I'm tired of it. You wouldn't want it in front of your house. I took the fire chief and said, hey, let's open up the pump in front lawn. That's what's happening, and that's clean water. Okay? I'm just tired of it. I blew up pumps, heaters, hot water heaters, some pumps sitting there smoking because it can't take it. I've had up to 30 inches of water in my basement. I've hit my homeowners. I'm done. I don't want to have to sit here and say, got to the captain, back down the hatch. Here comes another storm. Okay, it's ridiculous. I already talked to the engineer. Okay, I don't even do it for a living. He said it'll work. We have plumbers for it. I understand there's budgets, but you keep dropping homes wherever you want. Now we got these 96. That's fine, but you're putting them on existing systems. And you have a lot of people where their foundations, and like I said, 25,000. It's almost 1,000 a year, and it can't be prevented. That's the easiest solution. Somehow we got to find it, we got to jump on it because we've got 8 homes, and 2 of them are going to collapse. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Don't smile.
You just say he's being
You
too
ain't got a
nice.
problem, I got a problem.
What's that?
You're smiling too. Hi, my name's Paul Hardy. I live at 830 North Reed Ave. Now, when the Runnemede River comes up and it rains hard, it goes through his yard, goes through my yard, goes around my house. The guy's F-150 truck next door that he's talking about almost got flooded out until the door got knocked on as we waited through to move his truck. My cars all have to move because it's all underwater.
Excuse me, let me stop you for
Yes,
a second.
go ahead.
Are you mad at me?
No.
Then back off, Paul. Paul, this is a respectable, be respectable. No, be respectable though. Back up a little bit and relax.
I want to make sure you can hear me.
I can hear you, but
That's good.
Paul,
Yes.
but let me just tell you though,
Yes.
that coming off, aggressive to me is not going to be positive. Don't be that way with me. Everyone here in the audience,
I'm trying to express the problem.
and I understand it emphatically. Jim called me. He sent me pictures. I know about it.
It's on my phone. I can show you the
Yeah,
one.
you called me and told me
When
about
the
it.
ocean comes up next, because we have 96 new houses and nowhere to pump the water, it's going to be a
You're on the
big
other
problem.
side of the town, and
I'm going to be calling this gentleman here to come bring the fireboat to come get me out.
Paul, I understand where you're at, and I'll talk to everyone here in the audience. If everyone knows, I've lived in this town now for 20 years, not as long as everyone else that's been here. I've done the best I can since I've been mayor and part of the council. As you can see, there's a lot of, you know what, Paul? I apologize that I'm going to stop you, but you know what? This is a job that I do. I volunteer my time mostly. I get paid a small fee to be here and try to do things. I do my best to help, and you know me. You know that I've donated my time and done everything. Do not think that I sit up here and don't want to do every single thing I can do for this town. You know, if you heard all the stuff that we're going through, I want to do everything. I know about Bowers Avenue. I remember the drawings. We paid for those drawings on Bowers Avenue. We've been trying to foreclose on that land, and you're right, Jim, we've been dumping stuff on there forever. But what we haven't done is exactly, my predecessors allowed those houses to be built without any drainage problems. I agree it's a problem, absolutely. But I didn't create it. I'm doing the best I can to try to fix it. Please, there are 8,300 people in this town, 3,000 properties. I hear it from everybody, from bamboo to pipe jams to not enough dirt on baseball fields. Paul, this is a thankless job. I hope you understand that. You and I know each other well. Do not think that, and it's not personal. I'm not being personal at all. But please, tell me I appreciate what happened. I understand it, and we can do the best we can. I know that sounds like crap, but I don't know what to tell you. I get yelled at because I want to charge people $25 for a fee. You know, and I got people wanting to spend $45,000 and I'm not allowed to put lights up. Paul, I understand. You know, the only thing I can say to both you and Jimmy is, and everyone else here who's on this property is, I agree it's a problem. I agree we have to keep trying to fix it. You know, you're right, we started where we could do the easiest, the low-hanging fruit. We fixed down at the end of Crescent. We started with the baseball fields to make some improvements. We've got $70,000 that we're doing some more improvements on there. We spent thousands of dollars trying to get the land from that property on Bowers. We can't just put water on a property we don't own. I agree we did it a little bit on Manor Court. I do agree. You know, we kind of cheated a little bit on Manor Court, and I said it to everyone, arrest me. We cheated on Manor Court and put it in there. I've talked about it. We've got a property owner in Bowers. He's not even connected to the sewer. He's on the damn septic system back there. You don't think he's going to show up when I start putting water on his property? It's not an easy solution. I hear you. My road floods, guys. I've had 3 feet of water in my basement, you know? And I understand that we've got to try to do something about it, but I have to ask you to be patient. I can only tell you to be patient.
26 years of be patient.
I haven't been here for 26 years. I've done a lot,
You're
Paul.
mayor number 5.
I've done a lot, Paul.
You're mayor number 5, we had this discussion with.
Yeah.
The last week told us, we're the number 1 problem in the town. It's number 1 to get fixed. It's also the most expensive.
I didn't hear that.
But here's, well, the other 2 told me that. Here's the next problem. It was out in front of my house when that water went under the street. The whole front of my house is cracked up. The 2 culverts are actually falling in now. That could be his problem now. And I
If it's unsafe,
it's going to be even bigger if we don't fix this problem.
we can camera it. I can ask you to go down there and camera it. We had a similar issue on Central Avenue. Pipes collapsed. It cost us $70,000. And you know what? We paid for it. We have to fix it when it breaks. You're right. When it becomes an emergency, we have to fix it. You know, we're trying. Paul and Jimmy, I appreciate what you're saying about that, and no offense to the engineer sitting here, but even though I think that you might have a partial solution that it might help, I don't think it's going to guarantee that it's going to help, guys. I don't know. But the point is to sit there and say that the engineer, we have engineers who took all the water from the Black Horse Pipe, and now we're losing Hirsch Lake because they brought it all down there. There's always a consequence when you do something, and we're trying our best to do that. I agree, taking some of that water and putting it in that little culvert that's natural in Bowers Avenue could make a difference. Sure. But as soon as that water goes over 8 inches, it's going to go over the sidewalk and continue. And we can do our best, and that's why we've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to do where we can. I have no answer for you, Paul, other than the fact that we can continue to try to fix things and try to get things done. I know we're closer on foreclosing on that land than we have been since I got here 15 years ago. The land behind the RY. We don't own it. That's someone's private property.
It was donated to the RY.
It was never donated. It's never donated.
Okay, I'm not worried about that.
No, but that's where you want us to put the water.
But
that's where Jimmy and I agree. Put the water there. I'm not disagreeing. We've had meetings with the Turnpike Authority. The grate on Central Avenue got clogged, and that's why Central clogged. Correct, Chief?
Correct.
You know, the Turnpike flooded. The chief closed the Turnpike for how many hours?
A few.
You know, it was a terrible storm.
My house has been closed for many a time.
But we made some improvements. I mean, please give me that, though. The few improvements we've made have made a difference for some time. We need to do more. It's the best I can tell you guys. I don't know what else to tell you. You know, we have a budget. You know, tell me what you want me to cut. Do you want me to cut the police salaries? Do you want me to cut the fire department? Do you want me to, you know, lay off the tax collector? Do you want me to raise taxes 25%? Because you know what? I can. Because all these years that I've been here, we've tried not to raise taxes on everybody. But the CFO will sit here and tell you we've got what's called a tax bank, which means it's money we're allowed to raise. We can do what Gloucester Township does. And next year, when Mr. Murray's the finance director, he can propose a 15% tax increase.
So you're telling me just to keep going?
I am not. I'm telling you, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying, man. You and I were down there when we added dirt at the baseball fields to help the miner. I'm there with you, man. You know I'll be there tomorrow with my backhoe if I can help you out. You know that about me. We've run hundreds of miles together.
Yes, we have.
You know, I'm here to help. But I mean, the members of council come and go, the engineers come and go, and you're right, you've got to be a squeaky wheel. No, it has not. We've added 300 feet of pipe down on Crescent. I agree, it might not have been a perfect solution. We're trying to get your neighbors to sign a friggin' easement so that we can fix the pipe, even though you say it doesn't help, but it does make a difference if the pipe's broken between their houses. You know, we have worked on the baseball fields. You saw how much work we've done up there. You know, I mean, we're trying, man. Every day I try. You know that. You get to run with me and you could yell at me the whole 4 miles. I know, I accept it. I accept being it. I just don't want you to be too mad. I want you, you know.
I'm mad at the mayor, I'm mad at you.
Fine, that's fine. I deserve it. You can kill him later.
Next.
Thank you. Anyone else, please?
Got some go on record.
Yeah, it's fine. You could, I'm not here to intimidate or bully, I've been accused of.
Mean guy.
Please.
My name is David. I live on 820 North Oakland. We've been having issues with the flooding as well. I've been only here for about 3 years, but you know, since I've moved in, I've had like a flood issue that I paid landscapers to pretty much take care of. It's about $7,500 that I spent, and the last storm that passed, you know, on the story where the whole Oakland Avenue got flooded, and we got a bunch of water in the house still because there wasn't enough water to go, like, because the streets were flooded, there wasn't enough space for the water to go, so it kind of just backed it backed up from the street all the way back into the house. So we got a bunch of water, you know. I have some family here with me, he lives with me, and a bunch of his stuff got ruined. And yeah, I just wanted to say, like, essentially, like, if we're doing what we need to do to stop the water from getting in, who takes care of those damages that they keep happening? Like, I know you guys said that, you know, you guys are trying and all that, but and you know, it takes years. I heard Jim say he's been here 27 years dealing with this problem, and I've only been here 3 years. So I just am trying to see what happens if I'm here the next 20 years. Like, who takes care of those problems the next 20 years?
Well, to answer, you know, any damage, obviously homeowners, and we do our best to try to mitigate the problems. You know, we do take responsibility. I take responsibility. You know, and you know, you don't know me as much as well as some of the other people. We try, and I'm out there trying to fix this problem. You know, I have no excuse. I have no excuse other than the fact that it didn't get done. You know, and you being here means something. And coming here does mean something. There's nothing wrong with the public engaging, you know, and saying this is a problem, because it does keep it in the forefront. Because I'll be honest, when the public doesn't show up and say something, it does get forgotten. You know, we're people just like you guys, so, you know, you're right, it's not my house. So, you know, but Jim's my friend and reminds me, so I know, and we have to try to do something. But things aren't as easy as you know, snapping your fingers. You know, everybody, and I don't mean to lecture again, but there's so many forces on us, and that's all I need you to hopefully understand and keep on it and let us know. Do what you can to protect your own home. You know, I'll tell this story. I had a resident do similar yell at me about flooding, and the inlet had got clogged in front of her house. And I suggested to her to keep an eye on it. And then you know what she said to me? That was my job, to keep an eye on her inlet. Well, I said, I'll do my best, but it's your property. And I'm not telling you, like, you're invested to protect your property. You have to try to do things. That's why we have to plant trees. That's why we have to try to stop people from putting their stormwater in the sewer system and things like that. But there's a balance. How much can we force people to do, and how much can we do? So, I mean, I can't promise you anything, and I don't promise anybody anything. But it's definitely something that it's been on our radar screen. We've looked at it over the years. My predecessors never did anything with it. I'll do my best. I'm here for 3 more years. If I don't get it done, vote my ass out and get somebody else in here to do it. I mean, that's what I would tell you. But I will try, you know. So that's all I can tell you.
You know,
the lawyer's not here to yell.
Trying to be delicate about it, but I live on Mitchell Avenue. I'm almost at the top of Runnemede. When we bought our house 33 years ago, 2 years in, we had 3 feet of water in our basement. And it was 96, the big storm. And I went and had a sump pump system put in. I spent, in 96, I spent $15,000 on a $90,000 home. And I had a sump pump system put in. Sump pumps on both sides, 2 corners of the house. They came in, they jackhammered all around my basement, put it in a French drain, took care of everything. And
doesn't work for everybody.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't work for everybody.
You know, it's
not the flood. Not the flood.
It doesn't work when the road is
3 foot outside.
I appreciate that, and I understand it, but
you know that what's coming.
Yeah.
I can't pump it outside.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, you
but I understand you try.
You can pump it onto your own property.
Yeah, and that's why we're
Property
trying
is
to.
3 foot of water.
Well, you're in the lower.
I 27 years, I burned out 6 sump pumps,
Yeah.
two heaters, washers, appliances, clothing, 6 truckloads of topsoil that I never bothered the township with, okay? I'm very familiar with construction and codes. It is illegal to keep putting homes in place and not do storm drains. Haddon Heights has an ordinance. If you build a home, you install it,
Well, Jimmy, let me just stop you because you're not supposed to be talking back there, but I will say that you brought up the 96 townhomes. The engineer can testify they're going to spend probably $500,000 to put stormwater drains in. They have to put the whole roads in. They have to follow the 2023 code. So, you know, when you guys do me a favor, with those 96 houses, if they ever get done, drive around there. The new stormwater regulations, which I know I keep talking about, you're going to see a set of homes, and you're going to see a basin next to it. Every single set of townhomes has a basin next to it, because the law has gotten to a point where you can't build. The new law is so egregious that I think a lot of construction is going to stop, because unless you have enough ground, you can't do it. If anybody came by my building, did you see the pool that I was putting on the Black Horse Pipe? So, you know, water is a problem, and the state is trying to mitigate it. They're putting a tremendous amount of pressure on us, and you know, but remember, they allow us. You know, they don't tell us. Well, they do tell us to pass laws, but if they tell us to spend money, they're supposed to give it to us. But I appreciate you coming here. Please feel free to come here, because I will say that you're right. When there's no storms, no one complains. And you have to be on top of things so that things get done. You know, I appreciate even the parents that complain about the fields. But you know what the problem is? They complain the day that the kids showed up to play. They didn't complain 2 months before, when we could have gotten the fields prepped and fixed the problems. They waited till Tuesday before that. I hope you feel my pain, and I'm with you guys. I feel it. Thanks for coming. Well, this is a good meeting. Come on. I haven't had one of these in a while.
May I come up?
Of course.
Get them.
We broke I'm here to offer help, time, effort.
Your name and your
Barbara
name?
Harrington, Runnemede.
Yes.
Whatever you need.
I'll see you October 31st at the Field House.
Oh, you thought she was volunteering. You can do both. You can volunteer also.
Yes, I will come to your house and we will discuss.
Please volunteer.
Okay, and anything that you need, my one suggestion is find out why Barrington had that ordinance done. I don't know if you did it.
No, not yet. I'm so busy with my events right now.
Well, Barrington and Simmer, they had problems. They had neighbors complaining against neighbors, which is what
And
happens.
that's why they did it.
Yeah, it's neighbors against neighbors. But everybody has rights. And I agree, you know, your rights and their rights, you just have to balance it.
I get it, but if I can help to push it through, because it's the second time it's tabled, and I know it's not a major thing.
Democracy.
It's going to, you know, tear my fence down, I can't afford it. Okay? But anything else you need, I'd be happy to do it.
It sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
See, I was too
I saw
nice.
somebody wanted to get up. I'm trying to get up. Are you getting up? You should get up. All right. No one else?
Come on, Dave, don't be shy.
All right. Seeing so no one else, is there a motion to close the public portion?
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Lovestein, second by Mr. Farrell. You know what they like? They love that I had to sit here and get tortured. They can sit there and just smile and say, hey, you're the one who wanted to be the mayor, huh? All in favor? All right, public portion is closed. Is there any other discussion before we go? Did anybody want to address the audience or anything like that? John, anything? Chief?
I would like to say something. You know, people come here because they're having.
Push the microphone, it times out. You gotta hold it for a second. Turn screen.
I'll just talk a little louder.
Talk a little louder.
I do appreciate you coming. I've been to some of your homes in the area, and you know, we have done some things to make a difference. after hearing you guys and how you have to live with this issue, it would be hard for any of us to do that. I think we need to have a plan. I think talk is interesting, but I hope that we take it serious, talk about it a little more, and if it's a hard plan, at least we have step 1, step 2, step 3. Maybe, you know, we hold our feet to the fire and have something where we can at least start the next phase. And I think that if I was you, I would demand that.
I'd also, guys, I'd volunteer to help.
No,
At this
I know you
point,
would.
I have no problem.
Yeah.
We made them.
Me and you, we don't, I know.
About if the water lays there, we were gonna do some type of movement with the water.
That was a tremendous amount of water, guys, I
Yeah.
know. And
I
I hope that we can make it better.
I get it, but we
But
gotta
it is
start.
gonna happen again.
We gotta
But
start.
I think what John was trying to say is that he was part of that, the beginning phase. We didn't have a lot of money, we did what we could to start,
And the pandemic.
and then we lost track of it again. We did, I'm honest with you.
So a plan has to come
You
together.
have to complain, you have to show up. Government is about engagement, you have to keep complaining. I know it sounds awful, but it's the truth. That's why the fire department's here, keep an eye on me. That's right, Sam, shake his head. Anything else? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second.
Motion by Ms. Passio, second by Mr. Ranieri, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we adjourned at 7:29.